Hello, I'm Eagle Gardens 1 on Instagram, and this is fucking talking shit with Eagle, episode 735. Hopefully, you guys have had a great day. I've had a pretty good day myself, and I'm looking forward to talking to this gentleman right here, Michael Fang. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing excellent. Thanks for having me, Eagle. It's always a pleasure.
Heck yeah. Well, it's been a lot's been going on for you since last time I seen you. Well, on here, I've seen you in person, but even then, you've got a lot going on, man. So you want where do you want? We're here to talk, of course, about the organic cup, but let's lead our way up there. How you been? What have you been up to, uh, in general?
Well, well, for most of my time, I will admit, has been dedicated towards just building the organic cup back to prominence and back to, the level that it deserves. Requires a lot of energy and coordination and team effort. So it's not just me. A lot of amazing people are working simultaneously to make the organic cup a reality. So I'm got to be grateful for just the amount of people's energy and time that's being expended on this. It's really a group effort. But yeah, I've been spending most of my energy just visualizing the potential of a truly regenerative and holistic event that can, with the desire to inspire and educate our people about the benefits and really the joys of organic, biological, regenerative methods. And historically, that's been my niche. So that's really what I've been working on. Of course, at the same time, I've been continuing to operate Seed Bank International. We have um, always new genetics, new breeders that are coming on. Gage Green Group, which currently I'm dropping new strains under the title genetic designer, or just designer. This is a sub label, basically like a an offshoot brand. Currently, since Gage Green Group is kind of a has some matters to settle. So until that's fully cleared, I've been working under the name Genetic Designer. So if anybody doesn't know or hasn't seen, www.geneticdesigner.io is where you can be a part of kind of like my current journey and see some of the genetics that we're currently working with. We just released the grapes, which is our first grape stomper hybrid in almost 10 years. It features the gas cross, a male that we specifically pheno hunted called the Chief. That's just been phenomenal in our garden. And we're just excited to bring about basically a new grape stomper Kush hybrid that should really intensify the potency of the grape stomper while retaining all the characteristics that we love. So I'm just really excited for that drop. And we have some incredible new things coming along. The organic cup will be a special day. We're going to be releasing some new genetics as well as giving away some pollen and just doing fun things for the community. So I'm pretty excited and looking forward to 11/11 and 11/12, which is the date of the organic cup. And I expect to see you there, Eagle.
100%, man. I was hoping to join you in New York, but life kind of threw whatever. But I'm most certainly going to be in
Yeah.
Michigan. I just realized as you said it, I knew it was November 11th. I didn't realize it was 11/11, of course, an angel number. Uh,
Right.
so special day ahead of, I'm sure.
Yeah, 11/11 is a special day. It's almost like an anniversary for me. I like to pick dates that are numerologically aligned or have like speak to me. And in the past we've aligned a lot of our numbers with like the number 7 or angel numbers, things that are repeating numbers. So yeah, it's really always like numerology has always played a key role in how Gage Green Group kind of and some of my other brands pick their dates and names and whatnot. So it's always been important to me.
That's one of the things I really liked about you when I met you is some of the things you found near and dear. I also find near and dear as far as like frequencies and special angel numbers and all that good stuff. Strike a chord with me as well. So cheers to you, my friend, for being on the same path, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a path, and it's almost like a gate. Cannabis was the gateway to opening up doors to like these new rabbit holes and mental like journeys, in my opinion, like adventures into these different realms of our reality. And I've from where I started to where I am today, I'm a completely different person. I've learned lifetimes worth of information. I've changed my mind 1,000 times. I'm just continuing to evolve and learning every day. What some of the things I believed or thought I believed at one point, I may or may not today. It's just constant evolution, in my opinion. And um, but it's all about uh, it's kind of like what Tesla says, like everything connects. And the more cannabis kind of like is the has like stimulated me to seek the connectivity between all things and how everything is holistic and everything makes sense. um and yeah, just grateful to be on this journey deciphering these truths and um being able to be where I am today. It's just it's a true pleasure to be able to kind of have more of the answers and to be at least on somewhat of the right path, in my opinion. At least I know that um, we're moving in a direction that's more about harmony and more about all things beneficial.
All good things to worry about. Of course, what you put out's what you get back. So
It's true. It's
putting out
true.
in the right places, that's for sure.
Yeah, the organic cup is really the epitome of basically me kind of like um creating the world I want to live in, or at least like putting into the universe what I'm hoping to get back from it. It's I've been to a lot of shows. I've been a part of everything from the Secret Cup to the Sessions to High Times, Emerald Cup, all these different events. And I've learned I love the energy and I love the high frequency and the smiles and just seeing everyone come together for something that, you know, for almost 100 years we've been as a human race been unable to like fully engage in. But I always realize like there's always the the organic community or the community that's like the holistic, the natural path kind of world has always kind of been, it's a little bit of a niche, seen by the outside world as a little bit weird. Um, and we've never really had a home, even at like the Emerald Cup, it wasn't like there wasn't chemically grown cannabis in the competitions. And so I just always I knew like the vibe was out there, and but there just really wasn't an event that was just for our type of people or for the people that were into um, naturally living as closely aligned with nature as possible. I know it's like, we live in a digital technological age, and so many of the man-made inventions are partly what have gotten us here. And so I don't really discount, and I respect everything that's gotten us here. But natural healing, natural farming, and a lot of the principles that align with those concepts have literally taken me out of the hole, have regenerated my mind, my body, um, have allowed me to become a more productive, a better individual, in my opinion, and helped me resolve a lot of my lifelong ailments. So I can only continue to um, endorse what I know and what's worked for me. And the organic cup is this kind of like opportunity to bring everyone that's like-minded together, and to be able to push a message that, in my opinion, is the future.
Of course, you did take an awesome team to New York there to kick that off. I got to give you a lot of credit, man. As you kind of hinted to in the beginning of this, what it takes to start an event isn't easy, especially if you're starting it in a state that you're not necessarily in. It's even
Mhm.
harder to go through the ordinances and so it's awesome that you were able to, get the first event it started out of state and then pull off a great event. So my hat's
I
off to
have to
you.
take the time to thank and give credit to not just all our sponsors, but and the team, but the presenters, Big Cloud Farms and the Citadel New York, who were my team members and my teammates in making the Organic Cup a reality. We were very welcomed into the New York City um, cannabis world. A lot of local growers, vendors, brands um, supported me, and have actually historically been supporting me. A lot of growers in New York that grow my genetics, and it's just really an honor to be to have and know good people everywhere. But Big Cloud Farms, Citadel came through 1,000% with support, staff, team. I mean, every resource that I could possibly need to knock it out of the park, and that's what we did. So lots of I just want to give them a shout out because they put in a lot of work. The team that we brought out, I mean, we brought a huge van. We brought a huge van, truck, trailer. Like, it was a big kind of endeavor, a lot, just like a huge caravan. We brought a caravan out there, and first time I've ever done a show out of state or produced a show out of state. I've been to shows and traveled all over the United States for cannabis shows, but um, never one of my own. Historically, in the past, Organic Cup is on its fourth year. The first few I had a team, but it was not as organized. And with the help of Big Cloud Farms, we're going to be putting on an amazing show here in Michigan. I just want to also bring awareness to the fact that, like, there's a ton of amazing, I consider them celebrities and like rock stars in this industry, but at most we can say influencers that I highly respect, admire, and am incredibly grateful to have their support. But just people like Mendo Dope Boys, the whole band is coming out to perform in Michigan. Um, Dragonfly Earth Medicine, who I highly respect and have worked with for a while. Um, them and the DEM Pure community are going to be showing up. Of course, our sponsors. We're going to have Toro Glass at the Third Eye Gathering Lounge. We're going to have Equals Human merch. A lot of the amazing companies like Roots Organics and um, In-House and Tiki and some of these other brands are all going to be showing up back in Michigan, including, yeah, I mean, the list is incredible. So I'm just really honored to have the support of the community to be able to do something that showcases our best work. And yeah, really looking forward to seeing everyone together. Um, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big and great event for sure. That's why I was well, I have my own reasons for the tactic I'm taking.
You have
So
your own reasons for what?
taking the tactic I've taken on this. So
Okay.
kind of go I want to build my way up to Michigan.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
So
Go for it.
you took a great team to New York. What kind of things did you see there? What did New York have to offer for you? What was the vibe like there?
That's a really good question because the energy and the energy and excitement surrounding cannabis in New York, and I'm not just saying this, but it's unlike anywhere that I've ever seen in my life. And to the people that I've heard say that New York is like California or insert any state was X years ago. They're like, it's like California was 10 years ago. It's like Washington was 10. Let me just say that there's been no state that has ever been like the way New York is now. And just in terms of the um the participation and the ability that, at least from what I can see, this city has allowed, whether it be through its legislature or decisions made by who knows what, but they basically made it so that almost anybody can participate in cannabis. From what I hear, the licensing costs are incredibly low and affordable. There's a lot of social equity being offered opportunities. And while there's currently a kind of like it seems like there's a gray area, like a period where they're allowing the what you may call the gray area to prosper. What I mean is, like, right now, and this wasn't the case just a few months ago, but over the last few months in New York City, things have seemed to seemingly evolved as well. But you could walk down the street in Manhattan, and there'll be like smoke shops, liquor stores, CBD stores, whatever, all selling cannabis. You'll have street vendors, people posted up at the park bench with, as if they were at a sesh, with branded bags, um, their own labels, people's own creative, packaging. It's really incredible. I was walking down the street passing out flyers for the Organic Cup. I had just gone to, we were there for New York Fashion Week, and just been at the Equals Human runway show, which was phenomenal and really eye-opening, just to see like how amazing the production value was. Shout out to them. But the people on the street, I mean, there was just like people selling weed, multiple people selling weed on every block. I was walking down the street passing out flyers, and I saw these guys, and I smelled like a little bit of weed, and I walked up to them. They were just outside, and I was like, hey, you guys should come out to our weed show next week. And they're like, you should come to our weed show right now. And I was like, what do you mean? They're like, oh yeah, right here. And they open their door, and it's like, I walk down, or they invite me into the back, and it's a private club, sesh, whatever going on. Like, and I walked in, there's people there that knew who I was, met a bunch of people, invited a bunch of people to the show. Just like the vibes, the amount of people involved in the industry, the level of like, just like, I don't want to say free for all. It seems like the city is allowing like the stores to carry cannabis as long as they pay their sales tax. I'm no lawyer, and I just spoke to someone who owned a CBD shop there that was selling like all types of bud, and it was just mind blowing, I will say, coming from even Michigan, that is considerably years ahead, and where it doesn't always seem as free. And the, like, I'll just say, like, the fear of even having too much like pot on me exists in Michigan. The fear of, like, I mean, there's a lot, I just don't even want to get into it, but it doesn't, that feeling doesn't really exist in when I walk around in New York. I'm not like, and I know this might be different from a few years back where they were stopping and frisking and doing all types of stuff, but right now, today, as it stands, New York is the most free place to be for cannabis, um, that I know of, from what I can see. I know they might have more minimal plant counts, and they might have other rules and restrictions and liberties that we might not have here in Michigan or whatnot, or in other states. But just the vibe and the culture and the community there, it's incredible. And I really want to wish them well, and I'm grateful to be able to be somewhat of a part of it. And yeah, it seems like a good place to be right now.
It somewhat surprises me a little bit for with the population they have there that it's when it's came as far as it is, as fast as it has. It
Right.
seems like it was so backwards not so long ago.
I know. I know it wasn't that long ago where I heard, like, you didn't really take a lot of pot to get you really busted out there. And um it's really weird how, I guess, laws and governments and and just how things can change with one vote or one decision. And yeah, I can't say I'm a huge fan of politics. I wish that we could all be um just, everyone, I wish everyone could just get along, but we know that that's not a reality, and the world is a lot more complicated than we'd like it to be.
What was the cannabis? What was the entries like? What kind of terp profiles? You see anything that really stood out as something new and amazing, or
Hmm.
what was some of the stuff that you seen there?
So the truth is, I was pretty busy the whole day, kind of with just overseeing things and talking to people, that, I'll be honest, I didn't really get a chance to see all the entries um, at all. I wasn't really a part of the intake process, and during the judging process, I wasn't able to look through all of them. So if anything, I just got to peek at some of the winners, and got to see some things along the way. So I can't really speak on that, to be honest. It would probably be a good question to ask one of our amazing judges. We had 7 judges on flower, and I think there were almost 45 to 50 entries for flower alone. And then we had somewhere like 15 or 20 entries for rosin. And we only had those 2 categories for New York City um, because of the short time frame, and of course the harvest. We hadn't reached the harvest yet, so we just kept it 2 categories. But from what I heard, there were some amazing samples. Based on the final count, I mean, we posted the total scores for all the entries, which I think is valuable information for people to see, just like, what is a spread, right? Like, what's the lowest score and what does that mean? What is the highest score? What is out of the total? And what does that mean? And, like, how close were the top people to each other? And I mean, I think that's like, it's incredible information and data that hasn't necessarily been divulged in the past. And so it's kind of cool that we have some of that information from this last show. The But yeah, all the judges seem to have had an amazing experience. Nobody had really anything bad to say about the entries. Um, I heard a lot of great reviews. I think that the judges we picked were of great, a very diverse group from many different states. Some that were organic specialists, some that weren't, some, but everyone was placed in a role that we felt would be most suitable for them. And I think we got a very accurate depiction, or at least accurate measure of the entries. And so that's really what we were looking for. And I'm really happy for the people who won. They all seem to really work hard and deserved the award. And thanks to Toro Glass for making the trophies and giving the first place winners a rig and a flower piece that was incredibly generous. Everyone else was able to get a cup with a terp slurper and a grail quartz banger. So it's yeah, it was a really fun time. And that's about all I could really say about the competition.
So every time I've talked to you, I find a small reason to appreciate you as a human more and more. And in this case, I believe your honesty was just as good, if not better, than the answer I was looking for. And I really appreciate that. I mean, seriously, you could have fucking went, yeah, this was amazing, that was amazing. I seen all kinds of cool bullshit, but you were straight up with me on your answer.
I can only talk about what I can talk about, really. And yeah, part of it is creating a competition that people can trust and that isn't going to have obvious biases. So, for example, I've never entered into the Organic Cup all the years that it's ran. I've never judged, although I was thinking about maybe judging this Michigan one. I just wanted to maybe get my toes wet in the judging. But judging Pure Michigan Cup was just an incredible experience. I really had a good time. So yeah, we want to make this cup as fair and as legitimate as possible. The entries are double blind, so when we give out the samples, we don't know who entered what. Only maybe one person on the team who's doing the intake knows, and of course the judges don't know who they're grading, and that to me is the only way to have a fair competition. Anybody who enters anything that can be distinguished or identified will be disqualified. Yeah, we just want people to feel like they're getting their money's worth. Also, the competition, while it does cost $100 to enter, you can enter 2 entries per category. And we made the entry requirements really low. So we're not just trying to get your product or make you give up, your whole run, but all we're asking for is 8 grams of flour to enter, and then at the very least 4 grams divided into 8 jars to enter into the hash competitions and the rosin competitions. And the reason why is because we want everyone to just be able to be a part of it, and not for anyone to feel excluded because of the requirements.
That's pretty awesome too, because a lot of cups and stuff like that, the entries can be quite steep and
Right.
deterring. So that's pretty damn reasonable right there.
Yeah, I mean, I've always felt like the best quality products didn't necessarily come from the people with the most money, and there should never be the competition should never exclude people just because they didn't have enough or their grow wasn't big enough. I mean, I've always been somebody who, I've never been a commercial grower. I've always been a home grower, a craft grower, and I don't grow a lot of any one thing ever. And so it's like, to make competition where people like me could be a part of it, like that's what more could I ask for? And of course, we don't exclude bigger brands and larger companies. I think we just want to see the best.
So was it a well enough in turnout that New York it'll be a repeatable event for New York?
Yeah, most certainly. It'd be an honor to be able to bring the show back to the Citadel. We definitely reached the capacity, but I think it's a comfortable venue and space. I really enjoyed my time there. The team and the family there is incredible. So it would be an honor to be able to put on another show in New York, same venue, same type of experience. Um, the yeah, we had people lining up outside to come in most of the day. So it was a comfortable packed experience, and most certainly worth doing again. I don't want to do too many too quickly. I think that perhaps an annual organic cup in New York City makes sense. But we really would like to be back. The energy, the people are are amazing. We've been, asked when is our next event going to be in New York. Um, Although I will be honest, I have my sights set on really taking the show across the United States. We have I'm from LA, born and raised in LA. Um, Spent a huge part of my life in the Bay Area, Mendocino. Know a lot of people in Oregon and Washington, and I mean the organic community really thrives out there. We're lucky to have been able to bring in sponsors and growers from the West Coast to New York City. And so it just only makes sense to be able to do a show, in LA, possibly one in NorCal, Oregon. We have friends in Colorado, also been considering Massachusetts as a space. And I know there's a lot of other markets, but I'm really like feeling like, where is that organic culture and vibration? Where do I feel it the most? And where do I feel most welcome? And um, so those are kind of the regions that we're aiming to potentially put the organic cup on, maybe at the beginning of next year. So if you're from any of these places, or if you're anywhere across the United States and you'd like to be a part of the organic cup, definitely reach out. We're finalizing venues and dates so that we can kind of take this show across the United States. Hawaii would be a great and amazing state to be able to take the show to. So yeah, that's really what the vision is. But being back in New York City would be a dream come true. Met so many good individuals and friends out there that it would yeah, behoove us to return.
Right on, right on. Again, man, I'm completely bummed I missed that event because I love being a part of things, but I love to be a part of new things. So
Yeah.
right
Yeah,
on.
well, that's definitely not going to be the last time we're there, and it'd be an honor to have your support at any of these future events. I think your audience would love to see you go live and see your perspective. And yeah, we would, anybody on our team or any of our competitors, vendors, sponsors, or anyone of these individuals that are part of the Organic Cup would be a amazing, I guess, like contributor to your show. If you were to maybe one of these days we can do like an Organic Cup panel or something, and we bring on as many people from that community as possible to all talk about why they're part of the community, why they do organics, and how it's changed their lives. I think that would be a incredibly informative and positive show for your audience.
Oh, that's an anytime thing.
Yeah,
That's an
for sure.
anytime thing, man. So heck yeah, that's awesome that New York was a good, nice, a success for you guys, and a good, memorable experience for everybody involved. Um, so that's why I wanted to get that out of the way, because obviously I didn't want to be biased talking about the Michigan event, because it looked like you guys did an amazing job there in New York, but from what it's looking like already, and you've kind of hinted to, you've kind of outdone yourself a little bit more here in good old Michigan. I think this cup has just a little bit more to offer, and I don't know, maybe because it's closer to home or whatever, but I think this one's gonna be a memorable event. not just for you, but the people who are going to attend it. I mean, well, just there's obviously the huge weed nerd community that hangs around the show. So Mendo alone coming to Michigan, not just them coming, but
Huge.
everybody coming is fucking amazing. And you know, I think right there is going to be
That's
a
the Weed Nerd Nation all back together again.
oh yeah, oh yeah, that's gonna be amazing time right there, amazing set. But you know, education, I can't discredit. You know, Dragonfly. I had them on the show, and they're amazing, amazing people, and I can't
Yeah,
wait
I'm
to
so
meet
happy
them
to hear.
firsthand and see, you know, what they are bringing to the cup, the knowledge they're willing to spread. You know, people don't realize, you know, the passion that we people put into this, you know what I mean? The time it takes to get that information together. It's not just the time, you know, that they people like them, like yourself, in spreading the information, but there's time building that information that you
Mhm.
guys just give so freely. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that in itself's a huge respectful thing that you guys are doing, getting that information out there and helping people get on that right path.
Yeah, it seemed like a huge marketing push, and whether it be with the help of universities and institutions, the chemical gardening world really got like a leg up on the natural farming world. It seemed like 10 years ago there really wasn't a lot of information at all. The Rev, Subcool, and a few individuals did disseminate enough information early on that kind of put people on the right path, right? But it was really hard to figure out. It was really hard to find the information that just like, and I'm not saying organics is all that hard. It shouldn't be, but there was just a big vacuum that existed that I would say over the last 10 years has been filled by incredible speakers and teachers and growers in the community. But at one point it was like everyone was trying to figure it out for themselves. And the people who are in organics are some of the most passionate people because, in my opinion, they're truly in it for the healing aspects of cannabis. And they are the ones that use the most consciousness. I mean, it takes more conscious energy to do organics. It takes more effort to, and honestly, sometimes more resources. Or, I mean, some people argue that organics can be done cheaper, but I think like the learning curve and especially if you're trying to give your plants the best, I mean, it's not really about saving and cutting costs when you're growing organically. I mean, there's ways where you can be as closed loop and off the land as can be, whether it be like JDAM or other forms of just like natural farming that are quite renewable and low cost. But I don't know, just in my mind, you're putting more in for maybe um for more than just like monetary gain. And a lot of the organic people have I don't want to say been persecuted, but just like I said earlier on, have been neglected and treated differently for not accepting the mainstream, or um I don't even know how to say it, but it's just like the university back way of doing things. Like, this is more than that, right? This is like our spirit matters more than what um a scientist could ever fucking convince me of, in my opinion. Like, you could tell me all day that it's the same flower or that it's the same elements, and I won't believe you, until they're like, until it speaks to my spirit or my soul. And it's been long time since I've moved away from the synthetically grown, um, chemically grown pot, it and through that process, I've been transformed. I would say, like, in a way, like enlightened to how the world really works. And um, personally, I wouldn't, I a lot of the transformative healing aspects of cannabis, I would say, began when I began to explore um, organics, um, and then of course pushing that to the farthest extremes of, you know, the mycology, the microbiome, and then with the addition now of using um, herbal herbal based mycologically based substances, fruit based substances in my gardening. It's just taken the effects to the extreme, and how it affects me, it's just night and day. Like, I've seen people um who suffer anxiety attacks, panic attacks, psychoses, are basically bouncing off the wall because they can't figure out their lives. And as soon as they get off the chemical cannabis, everything returns to normal. There's something, I don't want to say toxic, but there's something unnatural about it. And with when we're talking about the mother of all herbs, one of the most potent, beneficial, healing herbs, how can we play with it? Like, how can we, like, why would we even dare play with it? Why would we not give it, you know, what Mother Nature intended, which is quite obvious? In my opinion, we should be pursuing that, you know, relationship with cannabis. I'm still got ways to improve. You know, we're still growing in a lot of indoor environments, um, LED lights, a lot of that is not natural. And so, you know, I'm still speaking from a position where there's a lot of improvements to be made in my own life, to be, you know, truly like as symbiotic as I can with my world. But yeah, I will have to say that I just love the organic community. Um, these are the real warriors, and and the a lot of times the mainstream world will consider what we do alternative, and they call it like alternative medicine. In my opinion, this is the original, and so I call it the original medicine. I call it the original methods. And it's it's about time that we return to how things were done, um, as they should have always been.
Well said. Well said. And I agree 100%. 100%. And I actually have been saying some similar things myself. I think it's no coincidence that, you know, cannabis and mushrooms, mycelium, has been kind of pushed to the forefront to kind of pull us back to
True,
that
true,
mindset right there.
true. And how fortunate and what a blessing it is for us to be living in a time when we can it's so obvious that there's a shift and that people are becoming more aware. And you can see by just the way the grocery stores are changing slowly, um, how the restaurants are changing slowly, that people are starting to care more. And I believe that the more we care, the better we'll become. I think that the I don't care, or, you know, like, the lack of conscious intention behind what we say and do and how we live is the biggest one of the biggest problems with um our lives today, I guess. And the more we the more we start to love and care and take responsibility, I guess, the more, like, it'll all come back. And the better our lives will be, the better our relationships will be, the better we'll feel. And I don't know, that's just what I'm about.
And talk a little bit about if you want. I mean, it's a little side, you
Sure.
know,
Anything.
uh crystals. I've talked to more than one people about crystals in the soil, and I believe uh kind of you're in somewhat of that practice, right?
Yeah, crystals are interesting. Like my relationship with them has evolved over the years, and um I would say that a good way of understanding kind of like, or at least the way I see the world is like we're almost like on a computer chip. And it's like the way, have you ever seen like the way the roads look from at night from above, where you just see like lights going one way and then lights going the other way, and it's just like this grid. And if you look down, if you're like looking above downtown, these cars are just going back and forth. Like what it looks like is this, it looks like a circuit board. And there have been a lot of people that have made this analogy, like we live on little mother chips, like computer chips. And the buildings almost look like the little processors, and we're like the electrons just like moving back and forth and stuff. Well, that's kind of like what we are. And as a society, as a unit, we operate from above, like a very cohesive program. And we're all living these individual lives. But sorry to get off track, but what I really wanted to make the analogy was, is like between our 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 lives and like the computer chip. And I wanted to say is like the computer chip is made out of um silicon, and that's why, or silicon, and that's why we have Silicon Valley, because Silicon Valley in California creates all the software and um, chips and all the technological stuff that we run our apps on, and everything we know and love today um, comes out of Silicon Valley. Well, what is silicon? Silicon is silica. Silica is our nails, our hair, um, sand, rocks. It's also the foundation to like plants and pretty much every living being around us, a major component. Silica, S, silicon dioxide, or is so I'm just kind of like going off points, but this is glass. This is also quartz. Silica is quartz. Quartz is crystal. Every time you go outside and you step on a rock or sand or mud, which is what, wet sand, that's, you're stepping into silica, you're stepping on a quartz. Technically, every time we put pressure on anything that's quartz based, electrical charges are created. And like, of course, we're not walking around and seeing sparks and energy flying everywhere, but you could imagine that every time you put pressure onto the concrete, even, that you're compressing on the molecular level silica and oxygen, which then creates structural changes that actually turn pressure into electricity. This electricity creates magnetism and waves that affect the environment around it. This is called piezoelectricity. Piezo, and this is how a lot of the technology we have today operates. We just aren't really taught how inventions work, or how a lot of technology actually works. But The buzzer, like on a pager, operates off of piezoelectric. So like a lot of times there'll be a thin piece of quartz that's engineered to vibrate when an electric impulse is put into it. So when you put electricity through a sheet of silica, it'll turn that electricity into physical motion. So there's a connection between that. Quartz in essence is one form of bridging the electrical world with the physical world. Similar reason to why people will wrap crystals in certain metals or compress or coil a quartz crystal with like copper. Not only does a coil create magnetism because of the shape and how electrons flow through it, which gets into like Tesla technology and free energy and all types of really interesting stuff that's been covered up. But when you compress and squeeze a quartz crystal with copper wire or whatnot, what you're doing, or you're gripping it and holding it, what you're doing is you're putting physical pressure onto the structure and creating magnetism and electricity. Whether it'll be measurable, but it'll be minute. But every change, everything we do has a cause and effect. So and that's just like me explaining the most fundamental basic aspect of what a crystal could do for us. It could also receive radio transmission. So that's why a quartz crystal, you can buy a home radio, like make your own radio at home DIY kit that where you can turn a quartz crystal into a radio receiver. Essentially, we live in this like super high-tech crystal power universe where everything we do, from our phones to our watches to our pagers to our radios to the computer to the chips to the crystal, that liquid crystal display, that all utilizes crystal technology, but we're completely unaware of it. In fact, if you were like felt a connection with crystals, or you were able to tap into some of the more subtle energies that crystals are giving off all the time, that you'd be considered weird or out of character or whatever, when in reality we are all invested into Silicon Valley, and it's all based off of quartz crystals. So anyways, that's one perspective on crystals and how important they are in our world, and that how little we know about them.
That's amazingly deep, man. That was a good answer. Not necessarily how they relate to the plants, but it's an amazing answer on crystals. You know, I thought for the most part, people didn't pay no mind, or maybe it's just something that's a new. But as I've talked to people in this last few years doing this, the people that actually believe in the power of crystals, myself included, uh, were way more than I had anticipated, and made me feel better the more and more that I uncovered that actually believed in the power of crystals.
Yeah.
And
I mean, there's the idea is that like some people say, well, is it a placebo, right? Is it just like you feel good because someone told you to feel good about it or whatever? And I mean, like a placebo is better than nothing. In fact, a placebo is better than most medicines, because a lot of the pharmaceutical products that are tested against a placebo. So basically, as long as a chemical is better than a placebo, it's considered significant. To me, that's a very sad take on the reality. But you all is mind. Our consciousness is super powerful. So in a way, if a crystal can make you positive, or if it can make you attract what you're seeking, then and your consciousness can create your reality, And if consciousness is reality, then how is the crystal not anything but real and doing real things? So, I mean, I don't, nothing's out of the question. Nothing is disconnected. Nothing is without significance, no matter how insignificant it may seem to some.
It makes sense to me. I mean, aren't rocks basically our most compressed energy? You know,
Right. Right. And how they hold the some of the brightest colors, and I mean that's like in a lot of senses, in the ancient days before we had all these artificial colors and dyes, um sometimes gems and crystals and of course the natural world was the only place where we would be able to get some of this kind of, see some of these beautiful vibrations. And um yeah, there's a lot to discover. There's a lot that we don't know, but the healing effects of crystals, i I tend to believe in. I don't tend to believe in anything more that I felt the effects. um I use anything I can for my benefit, so I've used crystals to my benefit. um and of course, as we know, the earth is filled with crystal. When you zoom into even the beach sand, that's all crystals. That's all crystal. um it's great for grounding, putting your feet in. It's great to basically balance our energies. Grounding barefoot outside, uh, exposing our bodies to the sun gazing, and is just like incredibly healing practices. I would say, like, and then you were asking about how it relates to the plants. And I've a lot of the things I do for my plants, I did for myself first. So whether it was like herbs and mushrooms, beneficial herbs and mushrooms, adaptogenic ones, I started feeding myself and my family first before I applied them to my plants, and vice versa. A lot of the things I've learned from my plants, I've learned to apply to myself. I take baths in humic and fulvic. I've taken baths in the a lot of the things I give my plants and have given my plants. And But what I was going to say was basically like after I really have been got into crystals for a while, but I didn't start applying them in my garden until after I was raided in 2017. And I started building a close relationship with Nick Gardner from Ebony Gemstone Co. And he's a vendor at my event. He's one of my good friends, and he's one of my patients. And I met him at the Flint Farmers Market. So after the raid, I was like, didn't really have a lot of money, and we had microgreens, and I was kind of trying to lay low. So I was doing like things in the community and trying to make some money on the side too. So I would go to the farmers market and I would sell my fruits and vegetables, my vegetables from my garden, as well as microgreens. And across the way was Nick setting up his stones outside, and we would both like be there every week. And I saw him working really hard, bringing his crystals out every day to showcasing them. And I started becoming his friend. We smoked. I invited him over to become my patient. But during this time, this is when, like, literally, start like when you talk about like starting from the bottom. Like, I've started all over so many times, and this is just one of them. And signed him up as my patient, and started, we started doing trades. And during this relationship, he taught me everything he knew about crystals, and I gave him all the knowledge and the best flower. And we just built a really good relationship. So I invested heavily into crystals. Like whenever I made a drop or I had some extra money sitting, I would just like, I would give it to Nick, you know, or I would go and grab a crystal or something and just start to build my collection, like quite intentionally. And um yeah, it's just like, that's when it really started, where I really began to meditate with them and feel the energies coming off of them and letting the crystals guide my meditation. And I started it just, and I had a discussion with one of my friends, Uncle Mike, who's actually a judge at the show Organic Cup. And and I remembered a conversation we had way back where he talked about like going to the river and getting these big rocks and putting them at the base of his outdoor plants. These are in like 100-gallon pots. And he said he would talk about how the roots would hold on to them. And it's like, it was almost like it just made sense to me. And so I have done a lot of that. But what really made sense to me was like putting rocks back into the soil, because we grow in these like loose mediums, soft mediums. A lot of times people don't really compress it, so it's just like fluffy. And you see like the plants, as soon as they get blown on, or as soon as they're not supported, they're just falling over. These plants are not grounded. And one of the things that I was discovering was that like, or noticed, was that the plants outside, they grow in the rock, they grow in the dirt, they grow in sand, and they grow in compact earth. It's not loose, it's not fluffy like cocoa sometimes can be. And so I have a very unique way of building my soil where I don't actually use a lot of I don't need a lot of aeration like the earth outside. But then furthermore, I incorporated crystals and rocks, and a lot of the things that I was procuring from Nick at the time. Things I want to first put a caution out there for people who are just getting into this, like minerals and crystals and things that you can maybe get at the store, what you might think is safe may or may not be. And I just want to warn you, because like a lot of crystals are composites. A lot of rough crystals have all types of elements and minerals on them, ranging on from totally safe elements like limestone and magnesium, calcium, silica, all the way to things that are potentially more toxic like lithium and lead and arsenic and different forms of copper or whatnot, that may or may be detrimental to your health and your soil. Always do your research, always know what you're handling. Personally, when I started getting into this, because I was conscious of these facts, I stuck with clear quartz, and I wash my crystals. I want to not introduce more heavy metals or toxic elements into my environment, considering I've already taken a lot of due diligence to eliminate them. So anyways, yeah, so just it made sense to create an earth that had rocks in it, like the earth outside. Obviously rock powder is a component of soil, and our minerals is an important part of the diet, but solid rocks and things that are actually like chunky and have form don't exist in our soil. And so I figured that would be a healthy way of introducing that, was just finding the best crystals in my collection and planting them in with my plants. And then I took it a step further and I wrapped my roots around them, so that when the roots got bigger, and I have photos of this, my Instagram has been deleted, so a lot of these old photos are gone, but the roots will swell up and just grip these crystals, like to the point where it's almost physically impossible to remove. So I know that there's pounds of pressure being placed on this crystal consistently, and the crystals in the earth where it belongs, where crystals potentially are growing, are alive, if anyone doesn't know, and they're growing in the earth. And constantly evolving and changing shapes according to the environment that it's in. But so I'm placing the crystal back into its home in the earth, and then it's wrapped by roots, which is squeezing it, creating that piezoelectric, creating this magnetism and energy that is, I was going to say orgasmic, but it's, you know, they call it orgone energy. It's the energy of healing. It's the energy of life. It's the energy of reproduction, of cell division, is essentially that holistic orgone energy that we're trying to harvest through everything we do. And so when I build my soil, when I nourish my plants, I'm trying to create that like positive energy. Anyways, yeah, that's about it.
No, thank you for that, man. Um, Great answer all the way around. I guess if just a couple quick more questions on the subject. Is there certain, I heard you mention quartz, but is there other, you know, some that work better than others? Is it more of a frequency? You know, each one I'm sure puts out some type of different frequency from one to the other. So is there something like that? Do they have to be cleaned? Another question, I guess, along that lines is obviously I do believe they are already holding some type of energy or knowledge, kind of like
Mm.
in the Superman movie. They drop them in the thing and they, you know. So is there some type of energy? Are you programming them? You know what I mean, with intention before
Yeah,
you
that's a
put
good
it into
point.
the soil?
People will talk about like obtaining crystals and there being, I mean, there could be energies from the previous user from ages, centuries ago. There could, and that's why a lot of people recommend that before you bring a crystal home or before you do too much work with the crystal, that you clean it, almost like resetting it, kind of like clearing your hard drive. Because essentially a crystal holds memory, it holds intention, and you can imprint energy into a crystal and then it will broadcast that energy. That's one way of understanding how like to channel your thought and your intention and to use crystals to manifest. um Technically all crystals have a similar ability, but oftentimes based on the way it's molecularly structured or the color, it has a different function. The color is like an encoded frequency or like energy that oftentimes correlates with a part of the whole, right? So like the rainbow is divided amongst these different frequencies. You have like ultraviolet and infrared, you have all light and no light, or black and white, and um every one of these colors represents a certain frequency on the whole spectrum, just like sound. And so our bodies, if you understand like the way the rainbow body is often described, or the chakra system is often described, from the top of our heads to the bottom of our feet, is there are different frequencies that affect these different parts of our bodies. If you see our spine with 33 vertebrae all the way up to the top of your head as like an antenna, well, the frequency that hits the bottom column versus the frequency that affects the top column it's like it's different. And so each spinal column represents a different function or part of our body, right? And so there's levels to different consciousness. You know, you start from the base consciousness and frequencies, and you build up. And this is how the chakra system is arranged, and so are the crystals and stones. So if you have like a yellow stone, it tends to associate with the solar plexus. um I could be wrong. Yeah, in the gut. and the yellow is uh correlated with healing, correlated with lemons, correlated with citrus, oftentimes is correlated with, wealth. um a lot of these colors, they all fit on the chakra system, and when you arrange all of life into these categories, it fits perfectly in the colors and into the parts of the body that basically manage these aspects of life. And anyways, so yeah, every crystal does matter. In my opinion, my favorite one to work with is clear quartz, because it's like neutral and it contains like the whole rainbow. um but I also love the different color stones for using it with like an intention in mind, or using it to balance myself out. um Sometimes when I have a goal or a target or something that I'm trying to achieve, I will find a stone that correlates with the color, um, and that corresponds with the intention or the action that I'm seeking to achieve. Um, yeah, I'm starting to sound like, I don't know, but yeah, this is the stuff that I like, that I think about, and I it's a simple way of understanding it would be like the color wheel, and marketing and brand association, and how they use colors to create a vibration or effect on their consumers. That's like a basic understanding of how colors work on the consciousness. And yeah.
No, I appreciate the ramble. I myself am fascinated by the subject, and I know a lot of people here that are watching are too. One other question before I guess we can, if you'd like, walk away from, this question or subject matter. But which one do you have on your hand there wrapped? What kind of stone or crystal do you have wrapped? What energy you catching there?
So it's actually cool because I'm wearing red, and this is a ruby, but this is actually a rough ruby, so it's not necessarily a gem grade. So there's not, you're not going to see like as much light going through it, as much as it's like more just I like the gemstones, but I also like them rough too, because they contain more of the original energy versus like the pure like essence. This is more like, in my mind, holistic and grounded, and more of a full spectrum. um but this is ruby. It's wrapped in silver, and was one of the pieces that I got made from ebony gemstones. And I guess red would be like more associated with things like the reproductive, um things like love, things like family, things like war, um relationships. um there's probably a lot that I'm leaving out, but yeah, I kind of just like subconsciously put this on with no real solid intention. But it's interesting because like this like I felt like I had a almost like a Mars like energy um surrounding me today, in a way. Like I just felt like protected. I felt like I felt like nobody could fuck with me, and it is providing me with a level of groundedness but confidence. And yeah, it's interesting sometimes to kind of feel how the crystal affects your day. um and this one this one's like one that I wear when I feel not like I'm going to war, but I need to like get the fire burning. I need that motivation. I need I need that fire under my ass to kind of get me to do more, to stand up for myself, and to do what's right. So yeah, that's kind of like the energy of this ring right here. Should have brushed up on my crystal science before I jumped on.
Oh no, you probably didn't see it coming, but I appreciate you sharing 100%, man.
Yeah. There's like sometimes, for example, like things that I can think of off the top of my head, like I I I used to maybe have a I still do, like I kind of stutter. I kind of get a little nervous sometimes when I have to say something or do some public speaking. And light blue stones are good for the throat chakra. Um, things like that. I like to wear when I feel like I need to manifest some more wealth in my life. I like to wear my citrine, things like that.
That's cool. I change my stones from day to day, that's for sure. And anybody that knows and watches the show, they've seen. I'm surprised I don't have one on today. Usually, lately, it's been the black onyx here. With I do
Love
love
it.
enjoying my skulls, so this is my steady right here. Um, but I do wear stones quite a bit, man, and I change them to my mood. You know what I think I need to be protected from. You know, actually, one of my best tattoos is or my the one I feel most close with is a Hamza tattoo right here in this arm. And go ahead and show you the sign.
What tattoo?
It's a Hamza. So like right here. It's like old school. It's a so basically a Hamza is a religious symbol. And whatever you put in the Hamza is basically what you want to be protected from. And in this case, there's a lot of dark stuff in there. The all-seeing eye, mainly evil and stuff like that. And you know, that tattoo I think really changed my life and kind of changed the energy that's been around me since. If can make any sense.
Beautiful.
Yeah, but it has it. There's yeah.
Yeah, symbols have a lot of power, and once you put that thought into reality and onto your flesh or onto a piece of paper or whatever, it's real, and there's a lot of power in that.
So back to the good stuff, I guess. Not that that wasn't all awesome, but will we be hearing stuff like this at the Organics Cup? Will you be speaking more? Will there be, some knowledge classes there, or what can we, all in all expect here in Michigan this round?
It's funny that you say that. It kind of just reminded me of the idea that like I've always wanted to teach or at least be able to explain a little bit about like the deeper side to like what this cannabis thing is all about, more than just the growing and the organics and stuff. um I've never really had an opportunity to talk about my full experience, and I don't know, every day it seems less and less important as much as it is to kind of just be the example and live it. um but I certainly will be talking at the Organic Cup. I'll be a speaker. We have amazing speakers. My friend Carol Calvalich is a Reiki um, master Reiki master teacher. We have amazing Dragonfly Earth. We have lots of my mycologists and growers who are experts at the field. Um, but it's just something worth divulging, I guess, is like every time I try to talk about something that's like a little deeper than just like the weed side, um, something always goes wrong with like the audio or like the speakers or something. And so it's interesting. Maybe the vibrations are too high, but I certainly will be speaking at the Organic Cup, and I'm not sure what I'll be talking about this time yet, but certainly it should be good. Almost cried in New York. I was like on stage talking about just like how important it was to be organics, to be into organics, and just like how was how I just seen too many people suffering, and how there's just too much suffering in the world for us to stay silent and not promote the most holistic form of gardening that truly, is life changing. So anyways, that's I don't know yet what I'll talk about at the Organic Cup, but I know that it'll be good, and I know that just the entire experience is going to be amazing. So um yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
So I'm kind of curious because it is a cup, and we are talking organics and all that good stuff. Is there an opportunity for possibly the winners other than, the, receiving of the award? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Is there a possible follow-up for, like interviews of their organic practices and stuff like that? Maybe a quick 10-minute rundown of, you know, what they're passionate about, what they may think,
Man,
with
that's such a good idea. And I will be honest that we don't there's so much that we can do to further enhance and I would say like make the experience of the Organic Cup more immersive. Um, Certainly this last time, cousin Nikolai and comedian El Hendricks did a great job of like recapping and bringing us back to the event. And so it's like even if you weren't there, it's almost like you were there. Um,
maybe
but
that's
there's
where I
so
can swing it. Ah,
yeah, and then you're going to be a part of this too. But it's like we perhaps that is something that you could do is create that follow-up experience, because these are some of the best growers in the world here that have been honored, and still yet some of these people are relatively unknown. Have Many of them probably have not had an opportunity to speak in front of a large audience or be on a show like this, and certainly deserve that coverage. um so it's an amazing idea, and we really should incorporate, like follow-up interviews, give the winners and everybody involved an opportunity to give their 2 cents, and hopefully make an impact on the world.
right on, right on. Like I said, it really sounds like an amazing experience that Michigan has ahead of them, and
Yeah,
whoever wants to travel. Oh, let's talk about this. You said you kind of sounds like you maxed out to the limit there in New York. So what kind of size venue? What are you? How big can the Michigan event be?
that's a
Because
good question.
middle
I
of
think
the,
that,
it's getting cold and people want shit to do. I mean, can
yeah,
you handle the demand for, it
I
sounds
think
like
we'll be good.
amazing
We
art.
were gonna do it at the Big Cloud Farms, and where they've already had such, an amazing experience, and there's RV and camping. But seeing how cold it's been getting, I think we made the good decision of bringing it to Benton Harbor, into an indoor venue. I think we have at least 10,000 square feet here, which is about almost 10 times larger than the area we had in New York City. So we will certainly have the facility to host a large group of people, and we expect to have over maybe 80 different vendors, different companies represented. Our hope is to have, or we are making an effort to bring in healers, artisans, and and other individuals such as nutrition or food companies, restaurants, etc., from Michigan and the local region to bring in local businesses, other organic businesses outside of our cannabis world. Um, but yeah, it's gonna be quite an amazing experience. The space that we're holding it at is beautiful. I just toured it the other day. Um, they've It's really well maintained. It's a beautiful place. We're really honored and grateful for the opportunity to be there. Benton Harbor is I didn't know too much about it before, but it's a it's a nice and quiet town where I feel like we'll be welcome. And yeah, it's just a perfect place for us to have the organic cup. So I'm very excited. It'll be indoors, it'll be nice and cozy. Um, we're gonna have different, food, we're gonna have drinks, we're gonna have just lots of activities. There's gonna be a speaker and lecture and kind of like a workshop stage. There's gonna be music all, both days. We're just really excited and honored to have the community support. So thanks, Eagle, and yeah, really looking forward to have you there too.
Oh, I can't wait. It sounds like an amazing event. And not that we don't love our big cloud events. 100. It's a great opportunity, but good choice on that indoor thing. It gets
Right.
fucking cold in Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan nature is like is a whole nother beast.
True that. True that. And it's tough to plan, in ahead around Michigan weather this time of year.
Right.
So
Right. Yeah, I do. I think this was a recommendation from Big Cloud, and I was like, I will take your lead on this. Like, if you don't think this is gonna work, let's do it indoors. So we found a new venue. The owner is an incredible individual, very supportive, and hopefully we can bring the venue some notoriety, and maybe they'll have more future events there as well. I wanted to say that the Michigan event will for certain be, I mean, I don't want to say better, but there will be more brands represented, more influencers, and more of my friends at the Michigan one. Because yeah, of course this is my home state. But there's I don't know, there's a lot of people that were, and I'm just saying this to be honest, like kind of what's the word? They just don't do New York. And like there's a lot of people that just didn't want to be a part of the New York event, but wanted to be a part of the Michigan event. For whether it be like for one reason or another. So there's going to be a lot of brands represented here in Michigan that couldn't come out to New York. And I'm really excited. We're going to have, Bee Leaf come out from Oklahoma. We're going to have Dragonfly Earth come out from the West Coast. We're going to have um, Roots Organic back out, Sunken Treasure Seeds from SoCal. A lot of my good friends that I haven't seen for a while, they're going to be coming out to support the Michigan show. So I'm really looking forward to, yeah, just having a blast here. This is going to be our fourth year here in Michigan, and should be an amazing time.
So my sounds like my advice to all you guys listening is get your ticket now so you don't miss this amazing event.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's an honor to be able to um, create this opportunity for everyone to get together, and we hope the community comes out to support us, and that we have a safe, holistic, and enjoyable time with each other.
So where can they I know I put links to the gauge, the organic cup, the designer, and Big Cloud Farms in chat
Yeah.
and show. But how can they go about getting tickets?
So the best place to get tickets, to be a part of the show, or to get details about the event would be theorganiccup.org. You can buy your tickets there. You can sign up to be an exhibitor. You can sign up to become a competitor. All the details for the competition are there. You can also purchase tickets on Eventbrite. But yeah, theorganiccup.org is going to be the place to be to get all your information in one place. So, but if you do have any information, don't hesitate to DM us on Instagram or email us. The email for the Organic Cup is info@theorganiccup.org. If you'd like to be a part, if you'd like to perform, speak, or be a part of it in any capacity, while I can't promise anything, when we do have a whole team of people trying to deciding who gets into the show, we would be honored to have your support and hopefully be able to work with you in November. So thanks everyone for allowing me to be here and supporting the show.
Always a pleasure. Thank you for coming on and hanging out and, letting me take you a little bit outside of the Organic Cup topic tonight. But
Sure.
it's always a pleasure to talk with you. And I hope that we can be doing this sometime soon.
Yeah, of course. Hopefully many more times. I have just hopped on to your show. I haven't necessarily joined the conversation since the last interview, but I've enjoyed many hours, late nights of just listening to you guys shoot the shit. I mean, like I'm usually up pretty late and I just love putting something on and love the cast, love everyone on this show. And I think you have a really good community here and I'm just grateful to be able to be a part of it. So thanks to Eagle, and you can ask me any questions. As they're never too weird.
That's good because sometimes they can be weird.
The weirder the better. Life is weird.
Sure, it sure the heck is. That's for sure. And yeah, I do look forward to hanging out with you. And I'm most of all, I thank you for pride and helping me lay down some more great content to this week. I've been very much enjoyed getting back to the fucking talking shit episodes, not just the weed nerd worlds, but I enjoy the one-on-ones. Getting to do, I don't know, maybe it's a little more selfish on my part, but I get to dig a little bit deeper in the directions that what I mean. I like to talk about,
Yeah,
and
it's always fun talking to you, and you seem to know how to ask the right questions that just get me going.
so I don't know if you want to keep rolling or if we want to. I've taken enough of your time this evening, but completely up to you, my friend.
Let's see. Haven't eaten dinner and it's like one I was gonna get some food, but I'm down to if you have another question or anything um anything on off the top of your head that you would like to talk about.
Oh,
Anybody?
I can dig forever. That's why I'm giving you the grease. I can walk you all the way through 420. I do this every night.
um let's see. You know, thing. Yeah, actually it's probably best if I hop off just because my sister was making some food for us and I don't want to leave her hanging. But I do really, really appreciate the opportunity to be
Chet
here and
has one
I
good
would love
question
to be
for
back.
you. Who
Yeah.
won? Who won New York?
So in New York, we had the in for flower, we had someone sweep, well, not sweep, but technically take two of the three prizes. Trying to remember. everyone. So first place flower and third place flower went to Joya Cannabis. And it's pretty incredible because I didn't know who they were before the show, but they reached out and they wanted to be a sponsor and they wanted to take 2 booths. You know, most people just get 1 booth. They went all out, and and then they took 2 of the 3 top prizes. And this is like 100% in no way like biased or, you know, they just grow incredible flower and they put their money where their mouth is. And I had to, you know, congratulate them and really show love to them because it's one thing to come to a show and sponsor and go big, but it's another thing to enter cannabis into a fair competition, blind judging and take first and third. So major props to Joya Cannabis for, you know, really doing an incredible job. And I hear that they have big plans for the future. Second place for flower was won by Jungle Bear Exotics, who is an incredible grower as well. They came out with an amazing showcase of their finest, and really proud of them for winning, really grateful for their support as well. They were also vendors or exhibitors at our show. And then for rosin, the first place winner went to Wicked Sawa, or Hash Farm, Maine, who apparently a lot of people already knew this guy was incredible, and they speak very highly of him. I personally have never been able to enjoy the product myself, but I've only heard good things. Obviously, I won first place, and then I'm forgetting the strains, but I know the individuals. Second place went to High Italian Rosin, and that was forgot what entry. And then who won third? I'm trying to remember. I gotta check my records.
Watching.
Oh yeah, third place went to Immortal Hashery. So yeah, some incredible winners. And oh, in terms of if anyone was curious as to which strains placed, for flower, the first place winner was Joya with the super booth. For flower, second place went to Jungle Bear Exotics. It was Mountain Trop. Third place flower went to Joya Cannabis for Peach Maraschino. And then for rosin, first place was Sweet Socrates by Hash Farm, Maine. Second place was Banana Bucket by High Italian. And third place was Skittles Trop by Immortal Hashery.
There you go. Sorry, New York, for not asking that earlier. My bad, New York.
Yeah, no, it's just such an incredible vibe out there, and I'm just grateful to have been able to do a show like that. Really remarkable, and never gonna forget it really. But I can't wait to do more. Hopefully some of the people on the show will be able to be a part of some of these upcoming events, and definitely reach out if you feel like you want to do something extra or be a part of it in any way. We'd love to have you. And it's just a great, good energy. The people that come are our kind of people. It's the kind of people that I want to hang out with that come out to the Organic Cup. So yeah, hopefully we'll see more of you guys there.
Sure you will. I'm sure you will. I predict the packed house, sold out venue. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that feeling too.
Heck yeah. Awesome. Thank you again for your time. I'll let you get to your dinner and your task because it is getting late. We only have so much time. Couple of things before you go. Same things I go with over with everybody, but I want you to remember This link that you have is always good if you ever want to come hang out in the weed nerd world. You're more than welcome. You don't need an invitation. Just come hang out whenever you feel pleased. Come and go as you please, 100%. Anytime you want to come and hang out again, hit me up, and I'm always willing to hang out with you and pick your brain about whatever. I would love some organic episodes. Keep that in mind. 100%. So, and oh, last but not least, can't let you get out of that soundbite. If you could, if you remember, give me a soundbite for this episode. This is 735. I am ready whenever you are. Go.
Thanks, Eagle, for having me on. This is Fang from Genetic Designer and Gage Green Group. This is episode 735,
35. Yes,
and
sir.
we are with fucking talking shit with Eagle, and it's always a pleasure to be here. Thanks to the Weed Nerd Nation community and everybody on. Thanks for having us. Thanks for having me. And I look forward to being back here soon.
Thank you so much. And as I hinted to a few minutes ago, time is the most valuable thing we have. Thank you for the what time you've given to my projects, and thank you for all the time you've put in the cannabis community. So
Likewise, thank you for having me on. Thank you for always giving me the platform, the time, and I truly appreciate it. I look forward to being back, and I look forward to communing with you at the Organic Cup and yeah, just breaking bread. So thanks again, Eagle.
thank you. All right, you guys, thank you for your guys' time. Yeah, I'm just as grateful for that. You guys want a weed nerd world, want to hold it down? Because I'm going to the gym. But if one of you weed nerds want to hold it down while I'm there, hit me up. Otherwise, thank you guys for your time. Do something nice for somebody. Random acts of kindness do save lives. And with that,